put the public's lives above their own, and we are grateful for that. Also want to say thanks to all the mutual aid partners that we worked with on this incident. Very grateful for their assistance. Thank you.
Thank you. Questions?
Chief, I wanted to ask you about a comment you made yesterday, because you said this is not Kansas City. And you just mentioned that this was an argument apparently that escalated. We had a similar situation just happened right around the corner at Crown Center less than a month ago. Last year we set a record for homicides in this community with 182. So isn't gun violence, in fact, very much a part of what we face here in Kansas City routinely?
We do face gun violence here in Kansas City. But my note of this is not Kansas City is in we had likely 1 million people down in and around this celebration. To have the ability to have that many people in our downtown area with I don't want to minimize this event, but that's Kansas City. That is 1 million people that are able to come together for a celebration. Again, you have just a handful, or I don't have a specific number of actors in this that perpetrated the violence that played out.
Do you have arrests? Because my understanding, you can only hold these folks for so long.
Correct.
Charge them. Have you charged them yet?
We have not charged them yet. This is still under investigation. We do have 24 hours until we have to either file charges or release them. And again, we are working closely with the Jackson County Prosecutor's Office to present the most successful case for prosecution.
Is there issues with linking them to the actual shooting? Do you have enough evidence at this point?
So some of those questions I'm not able to give a direct answer just because I want to protect the integrity of this investigation. My focus right now and what is most important to us is to make sure that everything in this case is presented for successful prosecution. So some of those questions, I'm hesitant to.
I think the answer is she's not
hold on
answering
a second, Mr. Mayor. It seems like we are so many hours from the shooting. At this point, you're not announcing an arrest. I just don't understand.
We have subjects that are detained, like I said earlier. That is under investigation. We have detectives that have worked overnight and through the night that are still upstairs right now working with our Jackson County Prosecutor's Office for the furtherance of this investigation. That we have all intentions of presenting charges.
I understand. The other thing I wanted to ask you about the individuals, were they part of a gang? Is this some kind of gang crew?
The relationship between the subjects involved, that's still under investigation.
You're good. You're good. Go ahead. Go after the lady, please. You're good. Go.
For the 3 suspects or the 3 people we currently have in custody, were they known to Kansas City Police prior to this, or any federal law enforcement or other law enforcement?
That is also under investigation.
Chief, can you elaborate? Locations where there was more than one location where the shooting took place, correct? Can you tell us that?
Initial reports were that there was more than one location. It really is. That's not the case. It was mostly on the west side of Union Station. I had another question.
You made it sound like you're not sure at this point how many people may have been involved. Does that mean there are potentially more shooters out in the open right now?
What that is, if I could clarify that, is that we are not closing the door and giving direct numbers on this. This is still an active investigation. We are still asking the public that if anyone witnessed the shooting directly, to still contact police. We want to make sure that anyone that was responsible for yesterday is brought to justice.
Can you elaborate? Could you tell us again the name of the victim?
Elizabeth Galvin.
And how old is she?
She's 43.
43 years old. Okay. And what exact time did the shooting was? When was that reported, and where exactly did it happen?
It was approximately, I believe, maybe 1:50 p.m. I'm not completely sure on exactly when the shots were fired, but it was at the conclusion of the celebration rally. Yes, sir.
Chief, can you elaborate at all on the firearms that were recovered on the scene?
Right now, I am not going to elaborate on that just yet. There were several firearms that were recovered.
Would minors have been able to legally hold on?
Just a second. What was your question?
ATF helping you?
We have engaged our federal partners. Kansas City, Missouri Police Department has a great relationship with our federal partners. We have historically, and they have offered all of their assistance to whatever we need in this.
Would minors have been able to legally possess these weapons if they were legally obtained somehow? would a minor be able to have that weapon in public?
Minors should not be in
Would you
possession of
be able to
weapons.
have that in public?
One of the weapons,
We'll
sir, this
say
morning,
that.
I was
Yeah,
watching-
go ahead.
I was watching local news. We were talking about high-powered weapon.
Yep.
Juvenile.
Yep.
People should have. Is that something that was a high-powered weapon used in this incident?
I think the chief explained right now there's still an investigation as to the firearms. Firearms have been retrieved, and then we'll learn more about it. To the extent that I was speaking towards it, it was from listening to sounds of gunfire, both in person and certainly in connection with what I have since seen in video as well. But we'll have all that information as soon as possible. That's being investigated with the
If
firearms.
there was a long gun-
One second, go ahead.
I know you haven't said so, but there've been some pictures shown of like an AR or something to that effect. If there's a long weapon, wouldn't that be something that you have hundreds of police officers there? Wouldn't that be something they would potentially be able to spot before it's even used?
I think our police officers did an outstanding job yesterday. I'm not here to second guess any part of that work. I know that we will review this situation like we do any other incident to make sure that we can keep the people of Kansas City safe at future times. Yes?
A question about the victims that were hospitalized. Do we have an update on how many were discharged, specifically the 9 gunshot wound victims that were children?
We don't have the updates on the conditions of the children that were hospitalized.
Chief, were there additional shootings that happened near or around the rally?
I didn't hear you.
Were there any additional shootings that took place before or around the rally point?
Yesterday, it was mentioned that there was a shooting in and around 27th and Gillum, that area. And we were also asked if that had anything to do with this shooting. Right now, we don't have any information that those are related, but that's under investigation.
Was there a consideration of having metal detectors? Chief Mayor,
Would you
I
do
think-
another parade next year with Chiefs win?
I'll just do the parade point, and then will we do
that again if Chiefs win? Do you hold another parade? Because I've talked to people that said they wouldn't come.
Here's the
back.
thing. We have a plan for a St. Patrick's Day parade in Kansas City. We have parades all the time. I don't think they'll end. Certainly, we recognize the public safety challenges at issue that relate to them. This is why we have detectives right now who are doing important work to make sure that people who committed these offenses are brought to justice. We will learn about the types of firearms that is used, and we'll do everything that we can, both as a city and working with our state and federal partners, to see that we can help avoid these types of situations. Unfortunately, this is not the first shooting at a parade in our country or a rally. That is certainly a tragic incident for us, because we don't have experience with them. You asked the chief at the outset, is this Kansas City? Well, we've had parades like this before. We had one last year without this type of incident. We had a Kansas City Royals victory parade where we had almost no arrests in 2015. So I don't think in any way that this is Kansas City. I do think that there's a gun violence challenge in this community and many others, and there certainly is a gun violence challenge as it relates to major events. That, however, does not mean that Kansas City will stop having major events. We will do all we can to make sure people are safe. And that's why I think you're seeing so many people at KCPD and the Kansas City Fire Department doing work to address that. Thank you all so much. We're good for now.
That is the mayor of Kansas City, Quentin Lucas, also joined by the chief of police, the fire chief as well from Kansas City. We get an update. The shooting yesterday happened just before 2 o'clock in one location. Despite reports there were multiple locations, there was just one location. They do not believe it had anything to do with terrorism. In fact, they believe it was a dispute between parties that ended up shooting at each other as a result. 3 people are in custody now. The chief of police says they have 24 hours to present charges. Nobody has been charged just yet. 2 of the 3 are juveniles. That's what they say. 23 victims. One of them we know. We've talked about her, the radio DJ, Liz Galvin. She is deceased. Everybody else so far, multiple of the victims are in critical condition. I believe only 6 of them with non-life-threatening injuries. Now, as we mentioned, we do think that a lot of people from St. Louis, we don't know numbers, but certainly several people from this area went to Kansas City to celebrate and to, check out the parade and be part of those festivities. If you do have any information, if you saw anything, if you have video, the FBI and Kansas City authorities are looking for anything they can get their hands on. The phone number to call is 816 816-413-3477. That's 816-413-3477. Of course, you can go to the FBI website as well, and you can leave a tip. They have a really good, easy website that you can, if you have information and you want to do it that way, you can go ahead and do it as well. It is tips.fbi.gov. But again, the phone number, 816-413-3477. Any updates that we get further today before the show is over, of course, we will bring those to you on the Chris and Amy Show on KMOX.
When you want a brand new kitchen, there's nothing to it. There's a brand new way to do it. 3-Day Kitchen and Bath.
Roger, tell us about your experience working with 3-Day Kitchen and Bath.
We just had a very fine experience with the work that 3-Day Kitchen and Bath had done on our home. They had taken out walls, put in a new kitchen and a new bath, and did it in an extremely timely manner with some of the finest workers that we've been associated with. Easy to work with. They did what we asked them to do. And each of the subs that they had, whether it was putting in the bath, the shower stalls, and they came in a timely manner. The plumber was here on time. The electricians were here when they said they would be here, and things just worked out really well for us. And I've done it myself, and it'll probably take me 2 years.
It's about time.
3 days or less
at 3-Day Kitchen and Bath.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank and Celtic Bank, members FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
Are you the decision maker in your company? Consider this. For the first time in decades, there's a better option for a corporate card and spend management platform. Meet Ramp, the only corporate card and spend management system designed to help you spend less money so you can make more. Most corporate credit cards offer points as incentives, but those points amount to less than their worth in real cash value. Ramp's corporate cards offer you cash back, real money in your pocket. Plus, you control who spends what with each vendor. And Ramp software collects and verifies receipts automatically, which means you'll stop wasteful spending and close your books in hours instead of days. Businesses that use Ramp add up to 5% to their bottom line the first year. If you're a decision maker, adding Ramp could be one of the best decisions you've ever made. And now get $250 when you join Ramp. Just go to ramp.com/free. Ramp.com/free. ramp.com/free.
St. Louis, are you ready for the return of the Billiken Blizzard? The Billiken Blizzard returns to Chaffetz Arena Friday, February 16th, when the Billikens host VCU at 6 p.m. All fans in attendance will get a Billikens Blizzard t-shirt, courtesy of SLU Online and KMOX. Plus, enjoy the halftime performance of Superstars, the Billiken Blizzard. Tickets on sale now for the game, and all the details can be found on the events page at KMOX.com/events.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-403-5569 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-403-5569. That's 800-403-5569. What do you have to lose? Call 800-403-5569. Again, 800-403-5569.
Hi, this is Charlie Brennan. You know, when you go to the Audiology Center, you'll see a doctor of audiology. And with us right now, Dr. Colleen Bosler. Dr. Bosler, what are some of the signs of hearing loss?
Well, it's a number of things. Sometimes loved ones notice a person asking others to repeat themselves, or the television is too loud. What people tend to notice first with hearing loss is the loss of clarity. They can hear people talking, but they cannot always understand what's being said. That's because the hearing loss can cause you to miss certain consonant sounds, and those consonant sounds give us the detail to the word. A hearing aid can help bring back those details and give you a sense of clarity that you're missing.
Dr. Colleen Bosler at the Audiology Center with 3 locations in the greater St. Louis area. Call for an appointment, 636 441-7470. Online, the Audiology Center, STL.com. You couldn't pick a worse time to sell your home. Sure, your home is worth a small fortune right now, but are you really going to swap your 2 or 3% current interest rate and pay 7 or 8% interest on a new house? No way. You don't have to with the Get Paid and Stay program from Truehold. This is ingenious. With the Get Paid and Stay program, Truehold will buy your home now at its best current value. You bank the cash and stay in your home until interest rates come back down, or as long as you like. It's your call. Plus, you won't have to pay property taxes, insurance, or upkeep anymore. Truehold pays those expenses. Learn more about Truehold's Get Paid and Stay program. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's value without having to move. That's 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com.
St. Louis, this is your show.
The show.
It's the Chris and Amy Show on KMOX.
Just wrapped up the press conference a few moments ago from Kansas City. The mayor, the fire chief, the police chief giving us an update on what happened at the shooting yesterday, what's ongoing. The investigation is still happening. They have not charged anybody yet, but they have about 24 hours that they can hold the three people, the three suspects. I don't know if they're really calling them that at the moment, but the three folks they've got in custody, they have 24 hours to present something to a prosecutor. Two of those three are juveniles. Chris and Amy here on KMOX. And when we come back, I want to talk a little bit about what happened, what we heard from that press conference, and, you know, what that means for us as a city here and how you feel in larger crowds. Do things like this, does it make you worried to be in a crowd of people? And what can be done about that? Chris and Amy coming back at 11 o'clock. The news is next. Then it'll be us on KMOX.
Want to be like Bezos, Gates, or Oprah? Or how about a Wall Street hedge fund titan? Well, maybe you can't be them, but you can finally invest like them by accessing an asset that's outpaced the S&P 500 for the last 27 years by 136%. Blue chip contemporary art. By 2026, Citi predicts the art market will grow by $1 trillion. But how do you get into art investing without having a hedge fund of your own? Easy. With Masterworks. Masterworks buys multi-million-dollar artworks, breaks them into shares, and allows investors to add those shares to their portfolios. They offer art from icons like Basquiat, Banksy, and Picasso, so you can diversify your portfolio beyond just stocks and bonds. Schedule a call with Masterworks advisors today at masterworks.com/ice. That's masterworks.com/ice. This advertisement relates to the provision of advisory services by Masterworks Advisors LLC and is not intended to offer or solicit investment in any securities. Masterworks Advisors is affiliated with Masterworks.
I'm Benjamin F. Chavis Jr. with the good news, brought to you by BetterHelp. The iconic Grammy Award-winning singer, actress, and philanthropist Diana Ross, at the age of 79, is still rocking the stage across the nation and throughout the world. The good news is Diana Ross continues to give back to underserved communities. The Diana Ross Foundation has emerged as one of the nation's top charities. Do relationships have to be easy to be right? Of course not. The best relationships with friends, family, or partners happen when both people put in the time and commitment to make them great. Therapy can help. BetterHelp offers convenient, affordable online therapy. Start the process in minutes and switch therapists anytime. Give your relationship some love with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/good news today to get 10% off of your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/good news. That's the good news. I'm Benjamin F. Chavis Jr. on the USBC Network, brought to you by BetterHelp.
KMOX, KECK HD2, K254CR, St. Louis.
The legendary voice of St. Louis, KMOX. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
We had an enormous amount of phone calls over this last winter cold snap. Did I say cold? How do you guys say cold? My wife says cold as COD. It's code. How do you guys pronounce it? Is it code or is it cold? If it's hot or code or cold, code or cold, tomato. This is just Bart, your heating and cooling expert in St. Louis. For expert service and common sense advice on your new furnace or air conditioner, call me. There's going to be one easy number in Missouri and Illinois. It's 314-293-2600. Again, Bart Inman, 314-293-2600, Missouri and Illinois, the only number. Or try the internet, and that is bartinman.com. That is Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com.
Your garage door is always there for you, rain or shine. Are you taking your garage door for granted? Is it screeching and whining for attention? Trust Overhead Door Company of St. Louis to keep your garage door reliable. Maybe the old weather stripping needs replaced to keep out the cold and hot air. Call Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, trusted here since 1926. For same-day service, call 314-781-5200 and schedule online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com.
It's Tom Ackerman for Ophthalmology Associates, the doctor's doctors, 314-966-5000 or online at youridoc.com.
Don't let a cold, sinus infection, or allergies ruin your day. Breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier with Navage. Visit Navage.com, Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, or a store near you.
Hi, Ken Newbold for Newbold Toyota. 2023 is our 50th year of being a Toyota dealer, so come see us. We're on Highway 64 in O'Fallon, Illinois, or check us online at newboldtoyota.com. You'll be sold on Newbold.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. For over 35 years, my mission has been to deliver more for our clients. Today, Morgan & Morgan has more offices, more staff, and more lawyers than any other injury firm in the world.
Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Mid-America's most trusted source for news. KMOX.
At 11 o'clock, we have cloudy skies, 48 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Megan Lynch. Preliminary reports find there was no terrorism or extremism found in the Kansas City shooting. One person killed, 22 others injured. Half the victims injured are under the age of 16. Kansas City Police Chief Stacey Graves.
Preliminary investigative findings have shown there was no nexus to terrorism or homegrown violent extremism. This appeared to be a dispute between several people that ended in gunfire.
Graves says 2 of the 3 detained are juveniles and that several firearms were recovered. Law enforcement officials say investigating Wednesday's parade shooting in Kansas City will be a complex task.
Just the evidence collection alone, the identification of other witnesses, people involved potentially that may have had information. It's a large scale event.
Speaking on Total Information AM, Ellisville Police Chief Steve Lewis praised quick action by first responders. Valentine's Law has the backing of Missouri's Attorney General and could soon become law. It's named in honor of St. Louis County Police Detective Antonio Valentine, killed in a head-on collision with a fleeing suspect. Representative Justin Sparks is a former St. Louis County police officer who proposed the bill.
Valentine's Law is going to make it a felony for any person to flee from police and endanger other motorists and law enforcement personnel and the public. Here's why this is important. Legislation is important, but not all of it is personal. But this one is personal because myself and his partners were there that day on scene. And it's one of the reasons why I left law enforcement to serve the public and our community in this way.
Sparks says the need to pass Valentine's Law quickly and get it on the books is critical for the safety of communities. A New York judge says former President Donald Trump's hush money trial will go ahead as scheduled, with jury selection starting March 25th. Loyola law professor and former federal prosecutor Lori Levinson has more.
This is a case that focuses on Donald Trump paying hush money and falsifying business records during the heat of the 2016 political campaign. There are allegations by Alvin Bragg in New York that there were multiple criminal violations by Donald Trump. Trump's lawyers had argued vigorously that the trial should not go forward, that there should be further delay, but the court in New York said, no, we're going to trial.
President Biden has announced a bit of a reprieve for Palestinians currently in the United States.
Citing the ongoing humanitarian crisis in Gaza amid the war between Israel and Hamas, the president has signed a memorandum granting an 18-month deferral of deportation. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan released a statement that reads in part, "This grant of deferred enforced departure would provide protections for most Palestinians in the United States, with certain exceptions. Those exceptions include those convicted of felonies and those who are considered a public safety threat." The move comes 5 months into the war, which began after Hamas attacked Israel on October 7th. Linda Kenyon, CBS News, the White House.
From the KMOX business desk, a new concern about autonomous vehicles.
It's a first for Waymo. The company owned by Google parent Alphabet has issued a recall because of a software concern. It comes after 2 of its self-driving robo-taxis hit the same pickup truck as it was being towed in Phoenix. The recall involves nearly 450 autonomous vehicles.
Waymo began giving rides to fare-paying passengers in the Phoenix area in late 2020. The Dow from Stifel this hour up 194 points at 38,622. The S&P 500 up 9 points at 5,009. Let's get a check now of the forecast.
KMOX AccuWeather this afternoon will turn out partly sunny, breezy and cooler than recent days. Temperatures holding in the 40s. Increasing clouds tonight, low 32, then snow tomorrow. This is AccuWeather's Bill Degger on the Voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Currently, we have cloudy skies, 46 degrees in Florissant. It's 47 in St. Peters, and clouds 48 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Megan Lynch, KMOX News.
The Chris and Amy Show, sponsored by Summer at SLU. Find your kids' best summer yet at St. Louis University.
Yesterday, Kansas City units, along with our mutual aid partners, treated a total of 22 victims of the shooting incident. We had 1 fatality that was on scene, 8 critical, 7 serious, and 6 patients with minor injuries. All the critical patients were transported off the scene within 10 minutes of our point of contact with them.
That was the fire chief for Kansas City, who was at the press conference just a few minutes ago, along with Police Chief Stacey Graves and Kansas City Mayor Quinton Lucas, with the update on the ongoing investigation into the shooting that occurred at the Kansas City Chiefs Championship Parade. It left 1 person dead. She is Elizabeth Galvin, 43 years old, and 21 people shot. Over half of the victims who were shot are under the age of 16 years old. That was according to the police chief, Stacey Graves. Right now, they're still looking at motivation and what exactly happened to cause the gunfire. They do believe that it was a dispute between 2 groups or between several people, and that right now there is no link to terrorism or domestic extremism in any way. It seems to be at this point a dispute between groups when they started shooting. And because there were so many people downtown, they had upwards of 1 million people downtown Kansas City. And the shooting erupted just before 2. So I think I saw 1:56 p.m. right before 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
On the west side of Union Station, there were reports that there might have been 2 scenes of shooting, but they believe it's just that one, the west side of Union Station.
Yeah. So they're still looking to build a case here. And as you mentioned, the 3 suspects are in custody. 2 of them are juveniles. So we're not going to get their names, I don't think, anytime soon. Maybe the adults, and it all depends. So while they are building a case, Amy, they are still looking for every bit of evidence. They've got about a day to get something to a prosecutor. And it sounded a bit like there was a little bit of frustration in the reporter pool.
It was tense.
Nothing has been,
tense.
that no one's been charged yet.
Yeah.
Because you have all of these witnesses. This was done in front of hundreds of people who were in the immediate vicinity. I mean, there were 100 people, hundreds. You don't know how many people were paying attention to what happened, but a lot of people saw something, right?
They saw something. There were shooters who were tackled. The weapons were retrieved. You would think they would be able to determine this is the gun that was used. These are the fingerprints we saw. And with all of the phone videos that are available, I know they do have a dedicated number in Kansas City now. If you've seen anything, you've heard anything, you have any idea, to call that number.
816 413-3477. And we have to guess that there were a number of people from the St. Louis area, from our listening area, who went to that parade yesterday, may have been in the vicinity, may have seen something, may have something on their camera, on their phone, maybe took photos, maybe took video and don't realize that something occurred or that they have evidence of it. They're telling us and they're telling you that if there's anything you have, there's no tip too small. So go ahead and give them a call with whatever you have if you were there. 816-413-3477. And you can go to the FBI website. And by the way, the FBI follows up on every tip, every single tip. So tips.fbi.gov if you want to go that route.
And about 11:30, we will chat with Paul Contreras. He drove to Kansas City from Omaha, or went to Kansas City from Omaha, and was one of the guys in that viral video of UC Chiefs fans tackling a shooter. Paul Contreras was one of those men. He was at the parade with his daughter, I think a few daughters. He'll be joining us at 11:30. Ranj, I'm glad you brought up the frustration that you could hear in the media press conference. I heard that yesterday.
We're like, why has nobody been charged? Everybody saw it.
But there was frustration yesterday too, which is kind of unusual so soon after an event. And there was a rather aggressive reporter who said, wait a minute, or 1 second, Mayor, kind of pushing back at Quinton Lucas and said to the police chief, you said this isn't Kansas City. But last year,
that was the first question.
We set a record number of homicides in Kansas City. He named several other shootings and incidents that had happened in the previous weeks. And I think he's asking her, how do you say this isn't Kansas City? Of course, she mentioned the almost 1 million peaceful people who were there. But that frustration with the violence, with gun violence, with gang violence that Kansas City has experienced, I feel that frustration because I do think in St. Louis, I could see St. Louisans having that same gut reaction of, no, this is us. This is what we need to fix.
Well, I wonder, and I've been thinking about this since it happened yesterday. I think I know the answer, and the answer is probably no. But I wonder if something like this can be a turning point. And maybe I think it's naive or wishful or whatever it is.
Like if Sandy Hook wasn't.
Well, let's be honest. Stuff like this happens all the time. Shootings happen all the time in St. Louis, in Kansas City. Kansas City is we've talked about this before. It's a good town. A lot of people who go there like it, and they come back and say, "Hey, KC is pretty cool. It's on the up.
The downtown is on the up and up."
They got a crime problem, though, too, just like us. Ours is worse, but theirs is still pretty bad. So it's not like everything in Kansas City is great. The narrative is always, when you talk about Missouri, it's always St. Louis sucks. St. Louis is dangerous. St. Louis, St. Louis, St. Louis. It's never KC, but they have a similar crime problem. I wonder if, and again, I think this is hope, but if something like this, that crimes happen all the time. People get killed all the time. People get shot in neighborhoods. But it's almost like when it happens, you can just, didn't happen in my neighborhood. I didn't see anything. Move on to the next thing. Because this happened in such a visible way with so many people involved, and it effectively ruined a huge celebration. Yeah. The country was paying attention to Kansas City yesterday. I mean, there's a lot going on in the world, but in terms of, the Super Bowl and football, the NFL is a huge deal.
And even more so because of Taylor Swift. I mean, I know she wasn't there, but there were more eyeballs and more people paying attention to this parade than there would have been.
And because of that, I wonder, and maybe it's just my hope that something comes of it. One person has lost her life already, and I would have to guess that all the kids, 8 or 9 kids between the ages of 6 and 15 were shot. And most of the injuries were life-threatening in some manner. Not all of these folks are going to die. Thankfully, many of them are going to pull through. But I have to hope that because it happened and people in Kansas City are angry, and I think people in the state of Missouri, and even here, even though it didn't happen here, people in St. Louis are angry about it. I have to hope there's some kind of movement in a positive direction and something comes of this.
Yeah.
Because it again, these things happen all the time, but they don't always happen right in front of our faces. This one did.
Mm-hmm.
So can something good please come from this? Other than these kids, these one adult and 2 kids, and we don't really know exactly who's responsible for what. 3 people are in custody. Maybe only one of them shot, 2 of them, all 3 of them, who knows? But beyond them being punished, something substantive has to happen.
The images, if there's one good thing that comes from people having videos on their phone and there being lots of coverage, is that images can change things for people. It's why we've said with Uvalde, don't make those images available to the public, just out of respect for the families. But if you are a lawmaker, if you are a governor, if you are a congressperson, if you are the president, you need to see what happened at Uvalde if you are a leader. And I think with these images, because they're already so public, and it was the contrast of this celebratory moment. It was Kansas City, Missouri, right? You have the heart of America. You have so many families, so many kids, and then you hear the gunshots. You see the terror. You see, kids running and families running and trying to reunite with. Imagine you get separated from your child because people start stampeding out, and there's drunk people, and so they're stumbling around. It's easy to get separated from a child in that chaos, and then you're thinking, "Is my child okay?" So there are people who suffered trauma physically as well as mentally because they were shot and they were injured, which is horrible. Then there are people who have mental trauma from the images that they saw, seeing kids shot on the ground, bleeding, and then the trauma from being a parent who maybe didn't even see anything but heard the noise, got separated from a child or from a loved one, whatever it may be. And we're seeing this because of phone videos. We're seeing it because of the extensive coverage. Maybe something like this helps us try to enact some change.
Uvalde, I don't know what it was about that school shooting because we've had so many of them where so many kids died. Maybe it was just, okay, enough's enough, that there was some kind of law that passed, And
I wonder if it had anything to do with just the inaction and cowardice of the law enforcement in Uvalde.
It might be.
There was something that hit people and was so shockingly infuriating about Uvalde. Because my goodness, Sandy Hook was so tragic, but there wasn't as much for people to see, I guess, and that's why images are powerful. And you can only show so much. I do think that out of respect for the families, but lawmakers need to see it. They need to see Sandy Hook. They need to see Uvalde.
But my issue with it, as I think about it, is nothing's going to change. And maybe that's cynicism. I think it's logical skepticism, though.
Yeah.
But maybe I am being cynical to the extent that I just don't believe. I don't believe anything is going to happen here. I think we're going to go about our business. You're going to have the same people say the same stuff all the time. Well, it's not the guns, it's the people. Okay, well then, what are you going to do about if it's mental illness? If it is something along those lines, all right. What's your plan for that? What's your plan then? Because no plan is not good enough. And let's not talk about the guns is not good enough.
Yeah. It's
give me something of substance that's going to change something.
It's the people and it's the guns because they're so widely available. And that's the thing. If you say it's just the people, well, then you're saying, I guess, that Americans are uniquely bad and awful.
Yep.
Because the number of shootings, the mass shootings, these school shootings, this is uniquely American in nature and volume. And
it's not even close.
So if it's just the people, then we are saying then America is uniquely bad people and uniquely bad policing, and we're just bad at everything. No, it's also the guns. There's so many guns and they're so easy to get.
Paul Contreras, who tackled one of the suspected shooters yesterday, he is going to join us at the bottom of the hour, just after the 11:30 news. So we'll talk to Paul. We also want to talk to you, 314-436-7900, Chris and Amy on KMOX.
For everything online, it's Odyssey.com. Download the Odyssey app and listen to The Dave Glover Show and all the news, talk, sports, and podcasts that move you. Odyssey, that's AUDACY.
How are balloons made? Where did the dinosaurs go? Why is the sky blue?
Your kids asked you the tough questions because they trusted you. So how about another question for you? Do you have a trusted financial professional to go to for answers on your retirement? Questions like, how much do I really need to retire? When should I take my Social Security benefits? Could my taxes go up when I stop working? We'll leave those tough kid questions to you, but for your retirement questions, FIRA Capital Management is the team to ask. Call them today at 314-328-4400. We all have important questions. Get your retirement questions answered with help from FIRA Capital Management. Call now at 314-328-4400. That's 314-328-4400.
Investment advisory services made available through Pine Ridge Advisors, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Securities made available through AE Financial Services, LLC, member FINRA and SIPC.
I'm Dave Glover, and I see clearly now thanks to the doctors, Dr. Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, Andy Royer, and Samuel Barry. You can too. Just go to youridoc.com.
I always wanted to learn Spanish, but I never thought I'd have the time. Then I discovered Babbel.
Babbel's lessons are fun. They only take like 10 or 15 minutes, and in 3 weeks, presto, you're starting to speak another language, like magic.
I love that Babbel's lessons aren't just robots talking. They're voiced by native speakers, so you get the pronunciation just right. And they're designed by real language teachers, so you learn how to have real-world conversations, things you'll actually use.
It's incredible. After using Babbel, I'm ready to start having real conversations in French.
There's all kinds of ways to learn. Use Babbel's podcasts or games or videos. You can even join live classes with a language teacher.
If you want to learn a language, there's no faster, easier, better way than
Babbel.
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 Babbel, évidemment. Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's Babbel.com. Start learning a language today at Babbel.com.
When selling your home, you want the most money and the least hassle. That's exactly what you get when you work with trusted realtor Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. This is Debbie Monterey, and selling your home is one of the biggest financial decisions you will ever make. And that's why having an expert on your side is crucial. Other agents know that some sellers will choose the agent that tells them the highest price they can get for their home, and that can be a dangerous strategy. Most of the time, it ends up being empty promises. Gloria Liu doesn't make empty promises. She makes guarantees in writing. Gloria Liu will guarantee to sell your home at your agreed to price and time frame, or she'll buy it. Guaranteed in writing. So pick up the phone and call Gloria Liu, 314-325-6888, 314-325-6888, or online at gloriahasthebuyers.com. Conditions apply. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date. Gloria Liu, Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Work or play? KMOX is right there with you. We go where you go.
I do think that there's a gun violence challenge in this community and many others, and there certainly is a gun violence challenge as it relates to major events. That, however, does not mean that Kansas City will stop having major events. We will do all we can to make sure people are safe, and that's why I think you're seeing so many people at KCPD and the Kansas City Fire Department doing work to address that.
That is the mayor of Kansas City, Quinton Lucas, talking this morning, just about a little under an hour ago, a press conference with him, with the chief of police, with the chief of fire. And we know about the shooting yesterday that happened. 3 people are in custody at the moment, 2 of them juveniles. They believe there was only one location of the shooting and nothing beyond that. They do not believe it was terrorism, just a dispute that spilled into gunfire. So that's what happened. Chris and Amy show. Let's get to a phone call. We'll talk to Doug in Ferguson on KMOX. Hi, Doug.
Hi. So I have 2 thoughts. First, the Second Amendment, which is a constitutionally protected right, is the hardest one to use already. There's 15,000 gun laws. When somebody says something stupid, we don't try to take away their right to free speech. Second, there are a lot of things we can do that aren't banning guns. You're not getting rid of 400 million guns unless you want to confiscate. So what you have to do is you have to deal with social work. You have to do intervention programs. You have to do mental health, checks with especially with the kids these days. Kids are struggling mightily now. Those are the things we can do. But the lazy, easy way is let's just ban more guns, or let's have red flags.
Yeah, let's parse that out a little bit.
I would say those are 2 different things. No one wants to take away 400 million guns. You're not going to be able to do that.
No one's proposing it. Nobody ever will.
When it comes to red flag laws, you have very red states, bastions of Republican policy, like Florida, like Arizona, that effectively enacted red flag laws. They have an extremely high burden of proof for anybody who proposes that, put someone up and said, this is my son, this is my brother, here's the evidence that I think you should take his gun for 24 hours while you investigate because he's been making threats to me and to his school. And the burden of proof is so high. And Florida, which one of the congressmen called it the gunshine state because it has such free gun laws. They enacted red flag laws that have helped stop potentially over 7,000 incidents since Parkland. Well, we're not saying take away guns. It's you have people who are showing mental illness, harmful intent, and threatening, and the police can't do anything.
I would also say that the First Amendment, that right is not absolute.
Mm-hmm.
There are still restrictions. You cannot say whatever you want, wherever you want, without the threat of being punished for it. You just can't be jailed for speaking your mind on things. You can be in trouble for threatening people. You can't just give threats. There are guardrails. There are restrictions to your First Amendment rights. You can't just do whatever in the hell you want to with no repercussions.
And when
that doesn't exist.
When you see some of the actions, the evidence, the foreshadowing of their actions by these eventual shooters or mass shooters, I'm not talking about yesterday. I'm just talking about some of the more high-profile shooting cases we've seen in the past couple of years. Their actions are so flagrantly, objectively threatening, unsound, and what they're proposing are criminal. And the fact that police have to give these people their guns back.
CVPA?
The parents.
They couldn't do anything about it.
The parents were begging them.
The police couldn't take his gun.
They couldn't take his gun.
And I don't think would anybody argue now that kid shouldn't have had a gun?
And if you say,
and if you want to make that argument, good luck.
Yeah. Well, the same thing with the Uvalde shooter. And if you say, well, these gun laws won't stop all of them, no. But if you think it's not worth stopping a Uvalde, go tell the parents that.
It's Chris and Amy on KMOX. When we come back, the man who tackled one of the shooting suspects, Paul Contreras, was at the parade yesterday, and he is next with us on KMOX.
If you're hiring, it can feel like you're trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. And now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. In fact, ZipRecruiter has helped a lot of business owners find their needle in a haystack, like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers. Because Telly Tires has grown a lot in the last few years, Marco needed to hire everyone from a receptionist to a store manager to a head mechanic.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill. ZipRecruiter helps me keep my business running.
Take it from Marco and millions of other businesses who've used ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter can help you find the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/RADIO. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank and Celtic Bank, members FDIC. Terms and conditions apply. Are you the decision maker in your company? Consider this. For the first time in decades, there's a better option for a corporate card and spend management platform. Meet Ramp, the only corporate card and spend management system designed to help you spend less money so you can make more. Most corporate credit cards offer points as incentives, but those points amount to less than their worth in real cash value. Ramp's corporate cards offer you cash back, real money in your pocket. Plus, you control who spends what with each vendor. And Ramp software collects and verifies receipts automatically, which means you'll stop wasteful spending and close your books in hours instead of days. Businesses that use Ramp add up to 5% to their bottom line the first year. If you're a decision maker, adding Ramp could be one of the best decisions you've ever made. And now get $250 when you join Ramp. Just go to ramp.com/free. Ramp.com/free. ramp.com/free.
At 11:30, we have sunny skies, 48 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Megan Lynch. Police rule out terrorism in a shooting at the Super Bowl parade in Kansas City. Kansas City Police Chief Stacey Graves says 3 suspects remain in custody.
We have not charged them yet. This is still under investigation. We do have 24 hours until we have to either file charges or release them. And again, we are working closely with the Jackson County Prosecutor's Office to present the most successful case for prosecution.
Graves says 2 of those being held are juveniles. Israel forces have stormed the main hospital in southern Gaza in what the army says is a limited operation seeking the remains of hostages taken by Hamas. Thursday's raid came a day after the army sought to evacuate thousands of displaced people who had taken shelter at Nasser Hospital in Han Yunis. Teamsters Union employees who authorized a strike last week protested Wednesday outside IDOT offices in Collinsville and Springfield. Capital News Illinois reports the state and union remain at odds over health care and wages. The Illinois Department of Transportation asking Teamsters members to switch from the union-run health insurance plan they're currently on to a new plan that the union says amounts to a 20% pay cut. And checking the roads this hour, mostly construction-related delays. One of those in Illinois, it looks like westbound 64 at the 15th Street exit. The 2 left lanes are closed for road work, and that's causing a pretty big backup. It's backed up all the way back to 255 at this point. The forecast calling for sunshine this afternoon, breezy and cooler, a high of 52. Clear early tonight, and then increasing clouds late with an overnight low of 32. And then we've got snow and rain mix in the forecast for tomorrow, a high of 34. Right now, sunny, 48 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Megan Lynch, KMOX News.
Bo Matthews here for Beast Plumbing, specializing in all plumbing services like water leaks, water heater repair and installations, drain clearing, water softeners, and water filtration systems. Your new plumber is Beast Plumbing. Call 314-500-LEAK and beastplumbing.com.
Broadcasting from the Underline Three Lawyers, GetJim.com studios.
KMOX.
For nearly 3 decades, there have been celebrations, excitement, moments, and memories. 30 years of Arch Madness at Enterprise Center. And it begins here in downtown St. Louis. The 2024 State Farm Missouri Valley Conference Men's Basketball Championship, presented by Valley Sports Midwest and Great Southern Bank, tips off March 7th through 10th. Celebrate 30 years of Arch Madness at Enterprise Center. Get your tickets now at archmadness.com.
Are you ready for a new you in the new year? Hi, I'm Dr. Michael Glickert with St. Louis Weight Loss Secret, and we know the secret to losing up to 1 pound of fat every day. Schedule your free consultation to meet with one of our health coaches who will determine which of our custom weight loss programs is right for you. Visit moweightloss.com now to schedule your free in-person or virtual consultation.
This is Debbie Monterey, and I just want to thank St. Louis Weight Loss Secret for making my 40-pound weight loss seemingly effortless. I mean, I did put in the work, but I followed the plan from St. Louis Weight Loss Secret, and I lost 20 pounds in a month, 30 pounds in 2 months, 40 pounds altogether. And now I am working on maintaining that weight loss because I don't want to go back to the way I was before. If you would like to lose that that weight. Go to moweightloss.com. It's St. Louis Weight Loss Secret, 314-207-8600.
Many people lose 20 to 30 pounds in about a month or two. For a new you in the new year, call for your free weight loss consultation. 314-207-8600. That's 314-207-8600 or online at moweightloss.com. That's moweightloss.com.
Dive into all things Cardinals on Cardinals Conversations, your go-to location for exclusive content from KMOX. Catch it on the Odyssey app or your favorite podcast platform. Stay connected with your team. Cardinals Conversations, where the Redbird talk never stops.
Chris Ranji, Amy Mark Scores alongside you on a Thursday morning. We've been talking about the tragedy that happened yesterday at the Kansas City Chiefs championship parade when there was gunfire. One person was killed, 21 people shot. Over half of the victims are under the age of 16. And if you have seen any of the videos coming out of yesterday, you may have seen one of the more viral videos of what appears to be the shooter running through a crowd when he is tackled by several Chiefs fans. Well, we have with us now Paul Contreras, a Chiefs fan from Nebraska, who was one of the men who helped tackle the shooter yesterday. Paul, thank you first so much for joining us today. I can only imagine that it has been a very difficult and surreal 24 hours.
Yes, it has. It's been quite hectic, but it's all good.
Yeah, and as Amy said, it has been just under 24 hours, and yesterday must have been for you, a lot of it is adrenaline, probably carrying you throughout the day. Now that you've had almost a day to process it, what's going through your mind?
It's still fresh. It's still there. Everything happens so fast that, it is what it is. I did without thinking. It was just a reaction.
Can you walk me through that moment? You're in the crowd. You were with your three daughters, right? At that time. And were you walking back to your car? Were you thinking the celebration was over? And then what happened? What did you hear? How did the tackle come about?
Yes, we were, the ceremony was over. So we were walking toward our vehicle with everybody else. And we hear, pop, 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 which to us sounded like fireworks. And then about 30 seconds later or so, give or take, here comes one kid running as fast as he can, and another kid running as fast as he can. And then here comes a cop, another cop, another cop. I mean, just so many cops chasing these two young men. So we're like, okay, well, maybe that wasn't fireworks. Maybe that was gunfire. So they got the bridge closed off on the other end, which we did not know, but apparently they apprehended one suspect, and the other suspect turned around and was heading back, in the opposite direction. And out of nowhere, some guy is just screaming out of the top of his lungs to stop this kid, stop this young man, stop him, tackle him, do whatever. And I had the perfect angle, and that's what I did. I tackled him, and in the process of tackling him, I either hit it out of his hand or it fell out of his jacket, his sleeve, whatever, was a gun. So as I'm taking him down, I see that gun fall to the ground, and I think to myself, okay, well, he's got one gun. He may have another one. So I need to keep him on the ground as much as I can. And then another good Samaritan came over, because I had him like up high around his head and whatnot. And the other guy took him around his waist, and we're just putting our weight on him to keep him down and keep him from not getting up. And waiting for the cops to get there, and then they get there. First cop, second cop, third cop, okay. They were holding them down, putting him under handcuffs. And I remember getting up and going, where's that gun at? You know, because I didn't see it. Well, another officer had kind of, I guess, kicked it off to the side, and he had it between his feet, saying, I got the gun right over here. I said, okay. I just want to make sure, you know, somebody had that gun and not somebody else just picked it up and walked away with it.
Did you get a good look at the weapon? I know you said you knocked it away, but did you? We've seen video, and you can't really tell what it is or how big it is, but it seems like it was sort of a larger weapon.
Yes, correct. You know, the only good look I got at it was when he dropped it, because I seen it hit the ground, and I got, that was my really only good look at it, is when he dropped it or it fell out of his jacket, whatever the case may be. And it was just, yeah, it was a good size, and it was black.
You said you were able to grab him. You were up high, and then another person grabbed him around the waist. Was it difficult to hold him down? Did you feel like you were holding him down for a long time before the cops got there?
Yes, it did. It might only been like 30 seconds or whatever the case may be, but it felt like minutes. But I know it wasn't. Mm-hmm. But yeah, he was, as much as I was fighting to keep him down, he was fighting to get away.
Did he say anything?
Not that I recall. My whole mindset was just to keep him down until law enforcement got there.
Paul, do you have any background in military or law enforcement that you were able to spring into action? Like, that's your reaction? I know so many of us wonder, you know, in that moment, would we know what to do? Would we know how to act? And you were able to be so courageous in that moment.
No, I have none of that background. It was just like, if you had to think about it, you shouldn't do it. To me, it was just a reaction. It was just in the moment, and I did what I did.
When the cops did show up, did they know immediately that you and the other people were good Samaritans? Could they tell within the chaos that you were holding down the shooter, or were they trying to figure out who was who in that moment?
Yeah, they didn't really know. They kind of looked at me like I was a suspect. I kind of got that, but we really didn't say any words. When they got there, I'm like, you know, I mean, me and the other gentleman holding him down were like, you know, handcuff him and this and that. And they were kind of like, the first one was kind of like looking at me like, you know, like I did something wrong, you know, but you know, it was so chaotic.
Right.
You know, it you know, they got to keep their head on a swivel because there were so many people there. But, you know, I mean, I did what I did, and the other Good Samaritan did what he did, and we just wanted him to get apprehended because, you know, when I tackled him, like I said, I seen the gun. Either he dropped it or it fell out of his jacket of somehow.
Did the police talk to you, question you right after the fact, or did you just sort of get up and leave?
Well, I got up and I had to make sure where all my daughters were. I was there with my 3 daughters. My one daughter was right there by me. My other 2 daughters were not far. So we all got together and we stood there for about a minute, maybe 2 minutes at most. Nobody came up to me. Nobody wanted to talk to me. Nobody did nothing. So I told my daughters, I said, let's go, let's get out of here.
And so has there been a follow-up? They haven't reached out to you or anything like that?
About an hour ago, they reached out to me.
Okay. And do they want you to come back in, or was it just a phone interview? What did they want from you?
Well, right now it's a phone interview. Mm-hmm. And they said they would most likely contact me again. They're not for sure when.
Were you injured at all in the scuffle? Are you okay physically after that?
Yeah, I'm fine. Just little scrapes and bruises and soreness, but overall okay.
And how's your family?
We're doing fine. Thank you.
I did read that it sounds like your daughter, who was closest to you, also had the presence of mind to watch out for your wallet or your phone to make sure that your stuff didn't get lost in the scuffle and keeping track of you. And I imagine that with all of the chaos, you're proud of their actions as well.
Yes, correct. And she's right here. She can talk and
Yeah.
and let you know what she's seen and heard and said and what she did also.
That would be excellent. Is this Alyssa that we'll be speaking to?
Yes.
Yeah. Alyssa, what did you explain to us your experience hearing the yelling and seeing your dad go into action?
I mean, from the moment the pops kind of went off, we all thought it was fireworks. And then as soon as we saw just offenders running and multiple cops running, we all, I think, kind of assumed, okay, those weren't fireworks. But after that, everything kind of happened so fast when we were trying to leave and get over the bridge and we came to a stop. After that, it was just everybody turned around and ran because that second offender was running back at us with what was a gun in his jacket or his hand. So you just see, millions of people jumping over barricades, grabbing loved ones. And then I noticed my older sister along with my younger sister, just running to find safety. And then as soon as I turned back around to see where my dad was, he's, tackling the second offender.
Were you afraid in the moment?
I think with everything happening so fast, I didn't even have a second to really comprehend exactly what was going on. But as we were leaving and walking away, it was just so unbelievable and just so speechless to even think, what we had just went through.
Yeah, when the immediate surrounding, the cops are yelling, people are yelling, your dad is tackling the shooter. There were still so many people around you. Did they seem to know what was going on? Were they just walking by? Were people still running to get away from the scene?
From what I could tell, I mean, there were some people who I think did recognize exactly what was going on. But then also, I did notice there were still people just kind of standing around the barricade, I think not realizing exactly what had just happened.
I asked your father just a moment ago how, we're almost 24 hours since this happened. And I'm sure yesterday was overwhelming for both of you. How are you feeling today as you've had some time to think about it?
I mean, my adrenaline is definitely down. I think overall, it's still just so shocking. And I think just, not even having a second to really just sit down, relax, and just, kind of go over and just think about how our last 24 hours have been. It's just kind of hard to put it all together into words.
And I'm sure a lot of people, we reached out to you and we're very thankful. And I know St. Louis is thankful that you're taking time to talk with us today. You must have been contacted in the last 20 hours by all kinds of people, I'm assuming.
Oh, yes. I probably couldn't even give you the amount of calls or emails or texts that we've gotten. It's honestly been unimaginable to even think that our lives, have gone in a 360 in 24 hours.
Well, and that makes us appreciate the time you're giving us even that much more. And it really is extraordinary what your dad did, what you did, because I think we all wonder in these moments how we would act. And the fact that you and your family acted so courageously, instinctively brave in a moment of tragedy when the whole world was watching is extraordinary. So thank you so much to you, to your dad, Paul, for taking the action that you did in that moment.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Please take care of yourselves.
Yes, we will. Thank you so much for reaching out.
Yep.
Thank you.
We can't thank you enough.
Paul Contreras and Alyssa Marsh Contreras, who were there, and Paul tackled the shooter and the suspected shooter, we should say.
Yeah, just extraordinary. Yeah, if you're just turning on the radio station, the Odyssey app, if you missed any of the interview, I highly recommend you go back. You can listen to the whole interview also on the podcast.
I can't. I think about this all the time, being in crowds. And I've kind of thought this way since right after 9/11. I remember being in New Orleans for that Super Bowl, and it knew 4 months later, it happens after 9/11, thinking always head on a swivel, just what's going on over here? What's this person doing? What's that person doing? And then with all these shootings in public, I think about it all the time. How would I react if it actually happens? And I don't know that I would do what they did. I don't know that I would like to think that I would do what Paul did or have the mindset to do that, but I don't know for sure.
I don't know either. I agree with you. I think about it. I worry about it. Like, will I act bravely in that moment? And again, the fact that Paul did that in that situation and the world was watching, to stand up to the moment is just incredible.
It's Chris and Amy on KMOX.
KMOX celebrates Black History Month and salutes African Americans from St. Louis whose achievements changed the world.
Samuel Shepard Jr. was an administrator to the St. Louis Public Schools. He ran the Benneker District for 19 years, from 1957 to 1976. Shepard urged teachers not to let the low-income status of their students be an excuse for poor grades. He also encouraged parents to get their kids in the classroom and to help with their studies. According to the book, Discovering African American St. Louis by Dr. John Wright, Shepard's approach doubled the number of students in the gifted program and reduced the number of low achievers by more than 50%. Shepard died in 1986. But today, Samuel Shepard Drive runs between Jefferson Avenue and Grand Avenue in the city of St. Louis.
Celebrating Black History Month, the voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Tom Ackerman here. KMOX is proud to join Busey Bank in recognizing the St. Louis Art Fair as Building Community Partner. Did you know, in addition to their 3-day festival in September, the St. Louis Art Fair provides year-round programming. Their Emerging Artists as Entrepreneurs program, supporting burgeoning artists through career education. Already, the program has mentored close to 100 aspiring artists in our region and is a model of similar programs across the country. Visit BuseyBank.com.
This is Pat Buring, Executive Vice President at Busey Bank. At Busey, we're more than just a bank. We're committed to building stronger communities. It's an honor to partner with organizations like the St. Louis Art Fair. Our partnership to create the 1868 exhibition is an exciting collaboration bringing the work of St. Louis emerging artists to our Clayton Service Center. Stop by today. View the artwork virtually at busey.com/1868 and join us as we continue building the communities we call home.
Missing this?
Goldschmidt swings and he hits the ball left field. That's deep down the line and it's a goner.
The Cardinals' 2024 season is about to begin.
Hi, it's Matt Pauley. I'm in Jupiter, Florida, covering Cardinals spring training.
Matt's got everything you need to know.
With reports mornings and afternoons and Sports Open Line weeknights from the T.R. Hughes Homes Broadcast Center.
Cardinals spring training coverage sponsored by St. Louis Composting, Wilkie Window and Door, and Norm's Bargain Bar.
On the home of the Cardinals, KMOX.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com.
McKelvey Homes is offering up to $100,000 savings on their designer market homes and special McKelvey financing of 5.99%, 30-year fixed, or 4.875% in first year with our 2-1 buydown. At Inverness at Bryan and Feisey, we have our luxurious LaSalle display home for sale. This professionally decorated ranch is loaded with all the most popular features. Hurry, these deals won't last long. Visit McKelveyHomes.com today for a complete listing.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. there is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and Yelp and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
When you want a brand new kitchen, there's nothing to it. There's a brand new way to do it. 3-Day Kitchen and Bath.
Rochelle talks about her experience with 3-Day Kitchen and Bath.
It was a wonderful experience. I had heard about them on the radio. They come out to your house. They let you know what they do. They let you pick out your features, your colors, and then they come into your home the morning they start. They walk you through, this is what's going to happen, and you leave for a few days, and you come home, and it's done.
Was it easy?
It made it easy because you're not in the middle of a mess for 2 or 3 months. Left on a Tuesday morning, and it was done on a Thursday night. We came home Friday morning early because we were so excited.
What was your reaction when you first saw it?
Wow.
It's about time.
3 days or less
at 3-Day Kitchen and Bath.
I'm Debbie Monterey, and I see more clearly thanks to the doctors at Ophthalmology Associates. Make your appointment today at 314-966-5000 or online at youridoc.com.
Hi, this is Ken.
And Laurie Heisey of Heisey Advisory Group. We're dedicated to helping individuals and families work toward their financial goals.
Join us Sundays at 9:30 a.m. for Your Retirement Highway.
Investment advisory services by individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
Amy Marks Course.
Fabulous.
Chris Ranji.
Unbelievable.
On KMOX.
We do have tickets to give away, as we have been doing all week long, giving away tickets to see Luke Bryan in concert at Hollywood Casino Amphitheater. It's happening on July 28th. In the next hour, we will give those away. Need to be listening for your opportunity to win a pair of tickets to see Luke. And also tomorrow, we'll give those away. And tomorrow, Amy, we're broadcasting live from St. Louis University.
That's right. From the Student Center, the
Bush Student Center.
Bush Student Center, the Bill Grill, the Billikens Grill.
That's right.
That's what we'll be. And in anticipation of the Billikens Blizzard basketball game tomorrow night. And when you buy tickets, KMOX is a sponsor, all of that, you get t-shirts.
Get a t-shirt.
Everybody loves a t-shirt.
You want tickets for Billikens against VCU tomorrow night? SLUBillikens.com. We got a recap for you. And no, actually, we got Matt Pauley coming up next. We've had to rearrange everything today. Matt Pauley will join us from spring training next on KMOX.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. Go ahead, feel your engine. Admire that perfectly installed exhaust. Your vehicle's moving along this freeway like it was made from fresh installs and a whole lot of love. With eBay Motors, you get over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Can I get a weight reading on the cat in exam 3?
Zuri needs a new vet tech after their current one literally moved to a farm. But finding an ideal replacement takes some training.
This is like herding cats.
Indeed can help them hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Schedule virtual interviews and talk to candidates right from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
When you're still looking for love, Valentine's Day sucks. Every restaurant is fully booked. Suddenly all chocolates are heart-shaped and all the PDA. Thankfully, California Psychics can give you the guidance you need to find the one. We guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. And new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com and experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
You've heard it said, he's a diamond in the rough. Or maybe, diamonds are forever. Here's something else I've learned about diamonds. They're just pieces of coal put under pressure for a long, long, long time. So when I start feeling like I want to give up, I think about that little piece of coal. And if that piece of coal can make something of itself by not giving up, so can I. Persistence is in you.
Pass it on.
From PassItOn.com.
KMOX, KEZK, HD2, K254CR, St. Louis.
The home of the Cardinals, KMOX. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Are you noticing that after sitting for long periods that your body isn't as limber as it was? Feeling your age? ConsumersHempMD.com. That's consumer with an S, hempmd.com is an educational website to explain the natural aging process, leading to symptoms like memory loss, joint discomfort, aches and pains, sleep disorders, and other ailments. ConsumersHempMD.com. Visit us for possible ways you can find relief from the natural aging process. ConsumersHempMD.com.
Medicaid keeps me covered.
It keeps me covered.
It keeps me covered too.
Illinois is mailing annual Medicaid renewals, which means that you need to make sure you stay covered.
Staying covered with Medicaid means keeping yourself safe.
Keeping your loved ones and your family safe.
Everyone's due date is different.
So go to abe.illinois.gov to check your renewal date and update your address.
And stay covered.
Mid-America's most trusted source for news. KMOX.
At 12 noon, we have sunny skies, 49 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Megan Lynch. The news sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. We have the latest now on the Kansas City Super Bowl celebration shooting.
Police are still working to figure out what was behind yesterday's mass shooting that claimed the life of a 43-year-old mother of two. Kansas City Police Chief Stacey Graves.
Preliminary investigative findings have shown there was no nexus to terrorism or homegrown violent extremism. This appeared to be a dispute between several people that ended in gunfire.
Police have detained 3 people. 2 of them are juveniles. Half of the 22 who were wounded are under the age of 16. Jim Crisula, CBS News.
Kansas City Mayor Quinton Lucas disagrees with comments that the parade shooting is typical of his city.
Unfortunately, this is not the first shooting at a parade in our country or a rally. That is certainly a tragic incident for us because we don't have experience with them. You asked the chief at the outset, is this Kansas City? Well, we've had parades like this before. We had one last year without this type of incident. We had a Kansas City Royals victory parade where we had almost no arrests in 2015. So I don't think in any way that this is Kansas City.
In the wake of Wednesday's mass shooting in Kansas City, is it time for the public to be better prepared? KMOX asked Ellisville Police Chief Steve Lewis whether communities should have active shooter drills like children experience at schools.
Yes, in our schools, we do have active shooter training. We teach them at a basic level on how to respond, what to do, escape, evade, engage. We want them to understand what they need to do in that event, but I also like to give them the information that is so unlikely to occur, even with the tragedy yesterday in Kansas City.
Lewis says one thing families can do is have a plan for how they will reunite if something happens at a big event. A 15-year-old girl is charged as an adult in a murder and robbery on a Metrolink train. St. Louis County Prosecuting Attorney's Office has charged Chelsea Wiley with second-degree murder and first-degree robbery. Police say they have video showing Wiley with 5 others on the platform in Pagedale when a man was shot and killed in July of last year. Police say the group stole the man's phone and gun and then rode away on the train, the teenager being held on $2 million cash-only bond. Under a new bill heard in committee Wednesday, Missouri school districts could have 10% of their funding revoked if they fail to report an incident of bullying. Representative Kathy Steinhoff of Columbia agreed with the motivation behind the bill, but criticized the harsh financial penalties on school districts where money's already tight.
You cannot control behavior, but you can certainly attempt to guide students. And that's what I think our current bullying laws do, is to guide students that are misbehaving in order to make sure everybody is safe. I think it just goes too far with the penalty provisions.
The bill has yet to move past the committee stage. From the KMOX business desk, Ford's top executive says that last fall's contentious United Auto Workers strike changed the company's relationship with the union to the point where it will think carefully about where it builds future vehicles. CEO Jim Farley told a conference in New York Thursday the company always took pride in its relationship with the UAW, having avoided strikes since the 70s. But last year, Ford's highly profitable factory in Louisville, Kentucky, was was the first truck plant that the UAW shut down with a strike. The Dow from Stifel this hour up 172 points at 38,596. The S&P 500 up 11 points at 5,011. Checking the roads, we still have that construction westbound 64 on the Illinois side at the 15th Street exit. The 2 left lanes are closed. Traffic is backed up past 255. The Allergy Report, sponsored by Zero Res. Call Zero Res today. Get 3 rooms clean starting at $119. The tree count today is moderate. The mold count is low. Weather sponsored by Gateway Arch and Riverboats at the Gateway Arch.
This afternoon will turn out partly sunny, brisk, and cooler than recent days as temperatures hold in the 40s. Clouds increase tonight, low 32. Some snow moves in tomorrow. Could accumulate a slushy inch or two, high 34. This is AccuWeather's Bill Degger on the Voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Currently, we have sunny skies, 49 degrees downtown at the Arch. Ahoy there, St. Louis. The riverboats at the Gateway Arch are hiring. Positions include kitchen staff, servers, bartenders, deckhands, and more. The pay is great, hours flexible, and staff get free metro transportation. There's so much happening at the riverboats at the Gateway Arch. Join their crew. Learn more and apply at riverbotstljobs.com. I'm Megan Lynch, KMOX News.
The Chris and Amy Show, sponsored by Summer at SLU. Find your kid's best summer yet at St. Louis University.
Look, there's just options for leverage innings where guys, I would feel comfortable putting them in those situations. I mean, if you look at Andrew, he's thrown some meaningful innings over in Tampa. Like, he's comfortable throwing late and tough games and being on that stage. So we do have some options back there with Gio and Andrew and Middleton. I mean, you go down the list, there's some good options outside of Helsley and JoJo. So ability to shorten the game is real.
It's Cardinals manager Oliver Marmol talking about his bullpen and hoping the depth is good, believing the depth is good for the 2024 season. The Cardinals are in the midst of spring training as we speak. This week, reporting for camp, pitchers and catchers, now full team squad. They're going to get going here and just getting themselves ready for the baseball season. This Cardinals report brought to you by Renner Garage Door, RENNER, forward and back, family owned and top rated. RennerDoorSTL.com. Let's send it to Jupiter, Florida, that is. We bring in our guy. What do you do? Come on,
You're
man.
such a cornball.
Just making sure. You might think it's the planet. That. Matt Pauley, our sports fella. He joins us from spring training. Oh, what's going on, Matt?
Just another day of baseball out here. How are you guys?
Hey, we're doing okay today, all things considered. And what's other than the jerseys thing, because that was a thing on Monday.
Yeah.
Other than what's going on with the uniforms, which we can get to in a minute, what's happening at camp today?
Yeah, so just more bullpen sessions from pitchers. That's the main thing. We saw a lot, generally 20, 25 guys go out there and have bullpen sessions at one point or another. The first group today, that included, Lance Lynn was in there, Sonny Gray, Ryan Helsley. Other people came in after that. So it's just a lot of guys kind of getting loose, getting 15, 20 pitches in, and that's sort of the way they're going to get things started.
And so you've got the full team workouts. When is that happening again? I thought it was.
They report on Sunday. Sunday. Workout on Monday.
All right, so that's happening very soon. Well, in the first few days of camp, as a baseball observer, what are you most interested in?
Two things, and it hasn't really changed. The battle for bullpen spots, but the battles aren't going on yet. Again, this is more about just guys getting loose. Right now, it's just watching guys play catch. If we're really being very honest about things, it's watching guys play catch. It's listening to the answers that are being given. It's the attitude and the excitement. But once things actually start happening that matter, it's watching the battle for the bullpen spots and whether or not Mason Wynn can be the everyday shortstop.
So that's all stuff that I think everybody is paying attention to, wondering how this pitching staff is going to shake out. As you mentioned, it is still very early, but this bullpen, it seems like they are improved from last season. And again, you never really know about a bullpen because there's a lot of fluctuation, or there can be from year to year. But how much better is this Cardinals bullpen than last season?
I think significantly better just because of the two guys that they've brought in. Most specific, they brought in more than two guys, but the two guys that you kind of pencil in as being high leverage guys in Andrew Kittredge and Keenan Middleton. You add that to the group with Ryan Helsley and JoJo Romero and Gio's in there as well. It feels like there's a lot more options now. When if you're up by 1 in the 7th inning and you need to hand the ball to somebody, there's a lot more confidence in who you're handing the ball to in that situation this year than there was last year.
Anybody you think could have a breakout spring? Sometimes you never know, but is there a player or two that you're really going to pay attention to?
Yeah, so one guy that I'm watching is Luken Baker because he's got power, and if he can find a way to make this team and also find a way to be a consistent power bat off the bench, that could be a really impactful thing for this team. He's a right-handed bat. He has power. He's not going to play every day. You got a guy by the name of Paul Goldschmidt over at first base, and there's other guys on the team who can, and Alec Burleson can play at first base, and Matt Carpenter can play at first base. So Baker's opportunities would be few and far between, but if he can find that way to get, 3-4 at bats a week and still be productive, that's a powerful bat off the bench.
All right, now let's get to the important stuff. What's wrong with these jerseys? The Athletic wrote about it today, or at least the story was posted today. You've got players around the league saying things like they look cheap and it looks like a giveaway jersey that they might hand out at a stadium. Players, for the most part, don't appear to be happy with what they're wearing on the field right now. What's going on?
Yeah, so Fanatics took over the production of the jerseys this year. They're licensed out by Nike, but Nike's not producing them anymore. Instead, they're being produced by Fanatics. And I don't have a big problem with the front of the jersey. So the front of the jersey looks a little bit different because the birds on the bat is no longer being stitched directly onto the jersey. It's being stitched onto a patch, and then the patch is being put on. It is still being stitched. That was something that the Cardinals really fought hard for. Initially, Fanatics was going to do some sort of, press on there, and the Cardinals said no, that they still expected it to be stitched on. So I don't have a problem with the front. The back of the jersey, though, the numbers look weird. The names look weird. They look cheap. They lowered where the MLB logo is. So generally, the MLB logo is right on like the collar, and now it's a little bit lower, right above the lettering of the name. So that doesn't really look very good. Players were complaining about the way the pants fit. So previously, you would get measured, like your legs and your body would be measured in multiple areas, and the pants would be designed specifically for your body. Well, this year, I guess they're just doing a couple measurements and they don't fit as well. So outside of the press release, which there was a quote from Nolan Arenado in the press release being very positive about the jerseys, outside of the press release, I have not heard a single person say a positive thing about these new uniforms.
It's almost like, I mean, if you're listening from the outside, you're thinking, oh, suck it up and play. But I mean, could it lead to maybe some changes here? Because you want the players to be comfortable. I think that's the start, right? When they go on the field, whatever they're wearing, I think you want them to feel good in it.
Yeah, I think there's two things. First off, it's a big league jersey. Like you walk into a big league clubhouse for the first time, you put on that uniform top. It's something special, and these don't feel quite the way they did before. So you lose something. I don't expect any changes for this year. Production and it would be really tough at this point in time. Just 5-6 weeks out from the start of the regular season, it would be hard to pull an about face and do something. But if the complaints remain consistent, I would think changes for next year. The other thing, this is the stupidest thing in the world, by the way, when it comes to something else with jerseys. So Major League Baseball has a rule that you can't have more than 5 jerseys. So the Cardinals already had 4 jerseys, the classic home and away, and then they've got their alternate home and away. This year, they're adding a City Connect jersey. So that's their 5th. In the past, during spring training, they have worn these red spring training jerseys during games. They're lighter. They just make sense. And then you have this big feeling of finally getting to wear the white Cardinals jersey when you make the team. Well, spring training jerseys count against your 5 jerseys. So
that's
they had
stupid.
Yes, it's
That's
insane.
very stupid. Yeah.
They had to drop the spring training jersey this year, and guys are wearing the actual in-season game jerseys while working out on the backfields simply because the Cardinals have a City Connect, and Major League Baseball won't let them have more than 5 jerseys, and they count that as one of their 5. This is insane.
It's MLB is so dumb.
So what
about
would
stuff.
happen? Okay, this is a serious question. What would happen if the Cardinals just made spring training jerseys and wore them?
They probably can't get them made.
Well, and here's the
The
thing.
Cardinals
I mean,
could get 'em made.
we're talking probably millions of dollars with for the total contract that Major League Baseball and Nike and now Fanatics are getting involved. If the Cardinals were to take the field in a jersey that was not the official
They
jersey,
get in trouble. Yeah.
I mean, that might be breach of contract, lawsuit sort of stuff.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's so unbelievably technical. I do think the jerseys look cheap. The jerseys look like if it were my job to order the jerseys and I found a slightly better price on Amazon to buy these jerseys and I bought them and it said they were authentic and then they show up and you're like,
what is it? DH
scammed.
Gate?
Yeah.
It's like you bought a jersey from DH Gate. That's what these look like.
It's like, well, I mean, I bought a pair of Adidas shoes like years ago when I first started shopping, on Amazon. I thought, oh, here's a great price for these Adidas tennis shoes. Well, they definitely were made in some random small town in China because the box was written entirely in Chinese and the shoes were the cheapest thing. I just threw them away. They were so cheap. That's what they kind of look like. They got scammed.
I think it's really worth because I saw the social media reaction. And of course, people out there are going to say, oh, look at the Cardinals cheaping out again. This has give the Cardinals credit for getting the stitching on the front. This has absolutely nothing to do with the Cardinals. This is a Major League Baseball issue.
Yeah, and they control everything. And I guess all the leagues do. I mean, they really have a lockdown on this stuff because it's merchandising for them. They're able to sell jerseys and they want the teams to wear what they are producing so that they can sell what they are producing to fans.
It's also of note, Fanatics is taking over the construction of NHL jerseys beginning next season.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's been Adidas, right?
It has been Adidas.
Okay.
It was Reebok, I think, before that.
And the weird thing in all this is, so Nike has been producing them. Now, Nike has taken a step back to actually producing, and they've basically outsourced the production to Fanatics and are just allowing them to throw the swoosh on there. And that's what's going to be. So that's why it's different last year to this year. They're both technically Nike jerseys, but last year was different because it was produced by Nike. Now it's being produced by Fanatics, and that's what the NHL jerseys are going to be next year. They're going to be Fanatics produced jerseys.
See, that's what surprises me that Nike would do that. Like, why would you go? Are they saving money? Why would you go cheapo on Major League Baseball jerseys? I would guess that Major League Baseball is one of your bigger contracts. And the thing is, for all of Nike's troubles, and you can say, I know a lot of people who don't buy Nike for whatever reason. A lot of reasons too is like how their stuff is made and where it's made. I'll tell you what, they are known for a lot of quality products. Like they make the best running shoes. I like their running clothes. They're known for actually good quality. So why, in what I would guess is an important contract with Major League Baseball, would they be cool with saving money and manufacturing through Fanatics?
It's the world we live in. And speaking of that, New Balance shoes are definitely better than Nike shoes, Amy.
Well,
the ones you wear, those white
the
ones,
ones that got stolen,
the ones that you use to mow the lawn. That's what he's got.
Well, listen, I have a narrow foot. Nike, I think, is good for narrow feet.
Okay.
Thanks for sharing.
Hey, anything else we need to know before we say goodbye?
No, just make sure that Amy doesn't fall over with her narrow feet.
Okay. You know what, Matt? I go to bat for you a lot. This is how you treat me.
Well, you go, I got narrow feet. You expect me not to respond to that? Come on.
You do. You should. I also really recommend the Zach Galifianakis SNL New Balance commercial. It's pretty funny.
I feel like I've seen it.
Yeah.
I will look it up.
But New Balance is great.
Hey, we'll talk next week, Matthew Paul. Oh, wait. Countdown to opening day tonight?
Yes. Mike Claiborne and myself, 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock. Lots of interviews, lots of audio from press scrums. Just if you want to get a sense of what's going on at spring training, we've got it for you tonight.
Later, Bubba.
See ya.
That's Matt Pauley. He is our sports fella. You can follow him on Twitter at Matt Pauley on air. That's Amy Marks Coors. You can follow her at Amy Marks Coors. I'm Chris. You can follow me at Chris Ranji. It's Chris and Amy on KMOX.
2 ways to listen to KMOX in your car. 98.7 in the city, 1120 a.m. further out. The voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Have you heard all the talk about energy efficiency as far as gas appliances and electric and heat pumps and eliminating certain furnaces, certain air conditioners, now stoves? If you're in the market for a furnace and air conditioner this year and just want to cut through all the confusion and would like to talk with and discuss what's the differences between the products and just an overall common sense approach to what do you need for your house, what works, what won't work, what fits in your budget, call me, Bart Inman. One easy number in Missouri and Illinois. That number is 314-293-2600. Again, the only number and an easy one. 314-293-2600 or online bartinman.com. Now that is Bart with a B and Inman with an I.com. God bless.
Hi, this is Ken Newbold at Newbold Toyota and Newbold BMW. I am so confident that my team will take care of every one of your service and sales needs. I'll give you my cell phone, 618-791-5470. Newbold Toyota or newboldtoyota.com. You'll be sold on Newbold.
Paid for by government.com.
Did you hear? A recent stash of $10 Gold Liberty coins from the 1800s has been found. These gorgeous gold coins are as bright and shiny as the day they were struck in the late 1800s, and less than 50 of these gold coins are available. Coin experts are calling this gold find an incredible opportunity. Call 1-800-456-2466, and you are guaranteed a $10 Gold Liberty coin minted by the U.S. Mint in the 1800s. But with extremely limited availability, you must call now. These Gold Liberty coins from the 1800s are still in uncirculated condition. That is history you can hold in your hand. To learn more, call 1-800-456-2466. Call now and you'll receive a free American Coin Collector's Bonus Package, a $40 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-456-2466 now to secure your $10 Gold Liberty coins dated from the 1800s before they sell out. That's 1-800-456-2466.
I always wanted to learn Spanish, but I never thought I'd have the time. Then I discovered Babbel.
Babbel's lessons are fun. They only take like 10 or 15 minutes, and in 3 weeks, presto, you're starting to speak another language, like magic.
I love that Babbel's lessons aren't just robots talking. They're voiced by native speakers, so you get the pronunciation just right. And they're designed by real language teachers, so you learn how to have real-world conversations, things you'll actually use.
It's incredible. After using Babbel, I'm ready to start having real conversations in French.
There's all kinds of ways to learn. Use Babbel's podcasts or games or videos. You can even join live classes with a language teacher.
If you want to learn a language, there's no faster, easier, better way than
Babbel.
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 Babbel. Évidemment.
Babbel. Language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's Babbel.com. Start learning a language today at Babbel.com.
Progressive presents Precious Moments.
Yeah, I caught my first fish, Dad.
Great job, buddy. He's a beauty.
Thanks for taking me fishing. Love you, Dad.
I love you too, son.
The exchange you just heard didn't actually happen, but it could. Bundle your home and other vehicles with Progressive, and you could use the savings to make sure the boat's always ready for those magical father-son moments. Who knows, maybe someday he'll actually like fishing. So keep the dream alive and the savings coming with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. But not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Local news and information direct to your smart speaker. Just say, play KMOX.
Time to rewind. It's the Chris and Amy Rewind Recap.
We have spent the majority of this show today talking about what happened in Kansas City at the Chiefs Super Bowl celebration, the championship parade and rally in which a shooting broke out. We've heard from a lot of people. The press conference happening at just after 10:30 with the mayor of the city, the chief of police, the fire chief, and here's where things stand right now.
We have not charged them yet. This is still under investigation. We do have 24 hours until we have to either file charges or release them. And again, we are working closely with the Jackson County Prosecutor's Office to present the most successful case for prosecution.
Is there issues with linking them to the actual shooting? Do you have enough evidence at this point?
So some of those questions I'm not able to give a direct answer just because I want to protect the integrity of this investigation.
So that is the chief of police, Stacey Graves. They do have 3 people in custody. 2 of them are juveniles. No charges have been filed yet. They have about 24 hours to get that done. So to present that to a prosecutor, and then they will go from there. But no terrorism, nothing like that. It was a dispute, they believe, that turned into a shooting, and 23 people were shot. 1 person died.
And I think you mentioned that over half of the victims are 16 years old or younger.
Yep.
16 years old or younger. Half of the shooting victims. We know that 2 of the 3 people who are being detained as suspects are juveniles as well. And I do think this, Ranj, perhaps this is a watershed moment. I don't know if it's one of those things that changes how we approach guns in this country, or if it's one of those things that simply changes how we hold big events.
Well, unfortunately, we've already seen far too many instances where multiple children were shot and nothing changed. Maybe the only thing about this that's different is it happened in front of everybody. It happened in front of literally thousands, if not millions of people who were watching and paying attention. I don't know, man. I feel hopeless about it. So whatever. I hate to be flippant about it. It's just, don't you feel defeated?
Well, of course. And I think you have to hope that people take action before things keep happening. I know in our own city, we saw it took a young girl losing her legs before we started taking action on the circuit attorney. We saw another mother and daughter die in the city of St. Louis by traffic violence. Are we going to take action now? And now with the bigger conversation about guns nationally, we have to keep having it.
We had a great conversation with Paul Contreras, who was at the parade just celebrating as a fan, and he happened to take down one of the suspected shooters.
And out of nowhere, some guy is just screaming out of the top of his lungs to stop this kid, stop this young man, stop him, tackle him, do whatever. And I had the perfect angle, and that's what I did. I tackled him. And in the process of tackling him, I either hit it out of his hand or I fell out of his jacket, his sleeve, whatever, was a gun. So as I'm taking him down, I see that gun fall to the ground, and I think to myself, okay, well, he's got one gun. He may have another one. So I need to keep him on the ground. And then another good Samaritan came over, took him around his waist, and we're just putting our weight on him to keep him down and keep him from not getting up and waiting for the cops to get there.
That's Paul Contreras. He and his daughter, Alyssa Marsh Contreras, jumped on with us today and talked about their experience. And they did, whether or not they realize it now, and I'm sure the moment has been overwhelming for them, they did a great thing. And
to rise to the occasion in that moment when the world is watching and you're surrounded by chaos is extraordinary.
That's Amy Marks Coors. I'm Chris Ranji. This is KMOX.
St. Louis, soccer is back. Oh, baby! This Saturday, you can join St. Louis City SC head coach Bradley Carnell and the boys for a special event at the Armory to kick off the 2024 MLS season. City Go! This free family event starts at 1 p.m. Hear from Coach Carnell and other members of the team. See the players in the new City jersey. Learn chants with Fleur de Noise and get ready for another historic season. St. Louis City at the Armory, Saturday at 1.
Every 2 weeks, you get a paycheck. You count on it, and you plan your life around it. But what happens in retirement? Sure, there's Social Security, but that's not enough. How can you create a paycheck in retirement? Steve All and his team at the All Financial Group can show you by creating a custom retirement plan and how you can create a guaranteed income stream for retirement just like you were working. To find out more about guaranteed income in retirement, attend one of our upcoming events, February 22nd or February 27th at the Twisted Tree. These events are complimentary, but you must qualify to attend. Call 636-230-8824 or go to yourmoneymattersstl.com. Investment advisory products and services offered through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, a registered investment advisor firm. All Insurance Group, LLC and IPW are not affiliated firms. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. Insurance and annuity product guarantees are backed by the financial strength and claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company.
Your garage door is the largest piece of moving equipment in your home. When it needs help, call the experts at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Their certified technicians repair all brands of doors and openers, and you can even schedule evening and weekend service. Just call 314-781-5200. And always look for the red ribbon. It's your assurance you've got the genuine, the original Overhead Door, the most trusted garage door company in St. Louis since 1926. For same-day service, schedule online at overheaddoorstlouis.com. 314-781-5200. At Odyssey, we believe in casting a wide net to create a diverse and inclusive workforce, as we value the power of community and encourage local organizations to help us in referring qualified applicants to our stations. If you're a community organization interested in receiving our vacancy information, simply email equalemployment@odyssey.com. You'll be directly notified of our open positions. Again, that's equalemployment@odyssey.com. And for our listeners, we invite you to visit odysseyinc.com/careers. There, you'll find an online listing of job openings at all Odyssey radio stations.
At 12:30, we have sunshine, 51 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Megan Lynch. The Biden administration meeting with the leaders of Congress and the intelligence committees in the House and Senate to brief them on new intelligence concerning Russian advances in space-based nuclear weapons. The administration has not divulged details, but one U.S. official pointed to the launch of a Russian rocket last week carrying a top-secret military payload.
The U.S. has been tracking Russian attempts to develop a nuclear-capable weapon that could destroy the ability to communicate by targeting satellites, which could also impact military operations. Moscow is dismissing the reports. Lawmakers briefed on the matter said it's concerning, but that the American people should not panic. House Intelligence Chair Mike Turner, who revealed the unspecified threat in a tweet, urged the White House to declassify information related to it so Congress, the administration, and allies can openly discuss actions necessary to respond to it. Natalie Brandt, CBS News, Washington.
The White House says it's been aggressive in declassifying material concerning national security threats, but only if doing so would not potential sources or methods used to learn about the threats. The average long-term U.S. mortgage rate rose this week to its highest level in 10 weeks, a setback for prospective homebuyers ahead of the spring home buying season. The average rate on a 30-year mortgage rose to 6.77% from 6.64% last week. Mortgage buyer Freddie Mac says a year ago the rate averaged 6.32%. Overland Police Department warning kids at the bus stop to keep their eyes open after a man driving a truck approached some Ritner middle schoolers yesterday. Police Chief Andy Mackey.
It's good that they report it to us because you never know, and you should play it safe and always tell an adult. And there's not always a crime per se that was committed, but it definitely makes us take pause.
Chief Mackey says the children did the right thing by ignoring the man. They're checking records to see if the truck matches any other cases. The forecast for today, sunshine, breezy, cooler than recent days, a high of 52, clear early, then increasing clouds overnight with a low of 32. And then tomorrow we could see up to 2 inches of snow, a snow and rain mix at times tomorrow, a high of 34. Right now, sunny skies, 51 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Megan Lynch, KMOX News.
Now, a Cardinals spring training report. Sponsored by Wilkie Window and Door, Norm's Bargain Barn, and St. Louis Composting. On your home of the St. Louis Cardinals, KMOX.
Cardinals camp continues as pitchers, catchers, and select position players continue to work out. Confidence continues to run high, and one area that the club is expected to be much better this year is out of the bullpen. Manager Oliver Marmol feels there are many more high-leverage options thanks to the additions of Keenan Middleton and Andrew Kittredge.
There's just options for leverage innings where guys, I would feel comfortable putting them in those situations. I mean, if you look at Andrew, he's thrown some meaningful innings over in Tampa. Like, he's comfortable throwing late and tough games and being on that stage. So we do have some options back there with Gio and Andrew and Middleton. I mean, you go down the list, there's some good options outside of Helsley and JoJo. So ability to shorten the game is real.
Closer Ryan Helsley was among the pitchers who threw a bullpen session earlier today. With a spring training report from Jupiter, Matt Pauley, KMOX Sports.
Tiger fans, don't miss any of the Mizzou men's basketball action this season at Mizzou Arena. Tigers host some of the nation's top matchups, and we need you to help us create the best home court advantage in the nation. With multiple upgrades to Mizzou Arena, you won't want to miss the best show in town. This place is special, and you make the difference. Tickets are on sale now, so head to mutigers.com/MVBTix to grab yours today. MIZ.
The first new brick-and-mortar standalone Genesis showroom in Missouri is about to open, and you will have to see it to believe it. It is luxury at its finest in St. Charles County. As we anxiously await the official opening, you can still purchase your Genesis today at St. Charles Hyundai. And right now, there's a $1,000 incentive on the 2024 GV80 through the end of the month. It's Genesis of St. Charles, a quarter-mile east of Mid-Rivers Mall Drive off 70, or online at genesisofstcharles.com.
What better way to support your nutrition than with the multivitamin that was created right here in St. Louis? Neovitin Original Multivitamin was created by St. Louis physician Dr. Ribicki to support his own nutrition when he needed it most. Now, Neovitin Original Multivitamin is formulated with sensible doses of vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and Dr. Ribicki's proprietary blend to give you nutritional support you won't find anywhere else. Neovitin is now conveniently available through our no-obligation monthly subscription. Cancel or pause at any time, and shipping is free. Support your nutrition with a subscription to Neovitin at neovitin.com today.
Broadcasting from the Underlaw Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studios.
KMOX.
Hey, it's Matt Pauley. I'm in Jupiter, Florida, the spring training home of the Cardinals, and you can hear my daily spring training reports, mornings and afternoons, direct from the team complex on the home of the Cardinals, KMOX.
Chris Ranji, Amy Mark scores with you. And this is something that affects every single one of us, either because of a parent, a family member, or concerned about ourselves as we get older. And that is brain health, and specifically dementia. It's such a cruel disease. I've seen family members suffer from it. And I think deep down, Ranj, there's that fear of, what if that happens to me? What can I do to help keep my brain healthy and prevent something like that from happening? Well, joining us now is Dr. Natalia Rost. She is the Associate Director of the Comprehensive Stroke Center of Massachusetts General Hospital. She's also a professor at Harvard Medical School. And she joins us now to have that discussion of what can we do, if anything, to help prevent or delay the onset of dementia. Dr. Rost, thank you for joining us.
Well, thank you for having me. And I wanted to thank you for the coverage of the story, because it's, even though it speaks mostly about Alzheimer's disease and dementia, just like you said in your opening, there's so much more to it, because we're talking about the whole brain health and the concept of preventive neurology.
Well, I don't think that's a thing that people really think about. The assumption is, well, whatever happens to your brain is what happens, outside of concussions and head injuries, that kind of thing, that you can't do anything about it. If you're going to have brain problems later, then that's just how it is. But there are ways, correct, that you can actually improve your brain health for later in life.
Absolutely. And, this is why we're talking about it. This is why we're changing the mindset. As you mentioned, we kind of resigned to being in the back seat of our car, so to speak, when we talk about brain health. But in reality, there's so much more we can do about it, and not just now, but actually along the entire spectrum of our lives. And I'm here representing the kind of a collective opinion and the effort behind it from the American Academy of Neurology. As president-elect, I've been working a lot in the past several years on what we call the Brain Health Initiative, basically a public engagement campaign working with a lot of stakeholders in the field, trying to bring together, everybody who is interested in helping us to get this concept of prevention, front and forward, making sure that we know that in childhood and in adolescence and in our adult lives and even in the oldest age, we can do something to make our brain health more optimal.
So what does prevention look like when it comes to brain health?
Well, right now, we know kind of bits and pieces from different sciences. So I'm a stroke doctor myself, so we do a lot of stroke prevention. And those elements are well known, for example, from the American Heart Association's, work in, basically lifestyle changes, healthy diet, exercise, sleep and regulation, and getting engaged in the social connections. But, this is just something that stroke doctors worked on. The prevention in dementia space is also somewhat personalized, where, we talk more about learning new skills, staying connected within your community, managing stress. What we're trying to do, though, as neurologists, to bring all the different aspects of it so that we can say that we have preventive measures for epilepsy, preventive measures for multiple sclerosis, brain tumors, etc. And as part of that, we're working on developing something that's called Well Brain Visit, which is just one of the tools that is part of the, kind of a national vision for brain health from the American Academy of Neurology.
I was actually just reading a story today from Harvard Health, and I heard it on the news that exercise like walking or jogging can be at times sometimes more effective than antidepressants alone when it comes to fighting depression. And it's an all natural way to help fight that. Do we know that exercise can also help fight off dementia or other brain diseases?
It's amazing what exercise can do, Amy. There's data for exercise being helpful for our heart, and we frequently say what's good for your heart is good for your brain. But what we're actually learning is that exercise affects brain in a different way. So even the moderate exercise, not just, the strenuous and, kind of extensive amounts of exercise that we sometimes recommend for cardiac health, but moderate amount of exercise, such as walking, as long as it's consistent and as long as it's, kind of a way of individual to get engaged with their movement of the body. We have data now that shows that exercise can prevent cognitive decline, and frequently, mild cognitive changes, such as troubles with memory, et cetera, are precursors to, frank dementia. And so as long as we can diminish them, as long as we can slow them down and sometimes altogether, stall them, that's something that we're looking for. There are a number of studies that are coming out from credible institutions and networks of collaborators that show that that's the fact.
So what sort of exercise are we talking? What does a person, how much of it per week or per day? If you're just talking about walking or running or whatever it is, what should a person really set a goal for?
I think, first of all, it has to be personalized, right? So your capacity to exercise may be very different from a capacity of octogenarians or, adolescents have different goals, et cetera. But as a doctor in my clinic, I always tell my patients as a neurologist that you don't have to, run a marathon. If you want to, you can. But you could do 30 minutes or 35 minutes or so per day of brisk walking, and it's going to be good both for your heart and for your brain. This is just something, again, it's what we call a moderate activity, level of activity. You don't have to be out of breath as long as you are engaged and as long as you are, moving. That's important. muscle strengthening is also gaining some popularity. As you know, weightlifting, building up your strength, not only good for your body, your bones health will thank you, so to speak, with age, but also brain is also engaged in the process, not necessarily specifically for the brain, but I think that that's kind of a building up into the portfolio of different exercises you can get engaged with.
I know this question is probably on the minds of a few people, and that is, do brain games and those books or phone apps that are supposed to challenge your brain, do those do anything for you? Do they work?
I think there is not like a study that compared performance of every of those, brain exercise or tools or games with some sort of official treatment or intervention of some sort. But so far, we don't have a specific evidence that any of them that have been studied have been doing better than just reading a book or learning a new skill or staying socially connected with your friends and family. So I think that for now, there is not like a magic wand or a special tool or trick that's going to help you with that. But just in general, staying connecting and being active, and also engaging with new skills and new experiences. That's something that's going to be helping.
As Amy mentioned right at the top of the segment, anybody who has been around a family member with Alzheimer's or dementia, it's awful. It is as bad of a disease as a person can get. And to watch somebody deteriorate is very difficult. And I know there are all these efforts to try and find some sort of cure or treatment that actually works. How close are we to something like that, a massive step forward in the treatment of dementia or Alzheimer's? Yeah,
you're exactly right. That is a terrible disease. Sometimes people say it's fate worse than death. And there are a lot of resources for those individuals who are already diagnosed. Neurologists are the medical doctors who take care of patients with dementia. And so we highly recommend seeking their input on resources and tools that are available. But I have to say, over the past couple of decades, there has been a concerted effort to get to the cures. And as you might have heard in the past several years, there have been some breakthroughs with new medications that are, making some advances in slowing down, again, cognitive progression, not necessarily curing it yet, but we're getting closer and technology is getting better. We're diagnosing individuals closer. We're able to do what we call personalized diagnosis. So there are different biomarkers, as we refer to them, blood tests and brain scans and cognitive tests that we can take and kind of project what the future kind of combined picture from those tests help us project the future in diagnostic, but also in management terms. So we're getting closer, and I want your listeners to know that there is hope. And whenever there is a concern, make sure to talk to your doctor. Right now, nobody goes into an annual visit and says, "Hey, doc, how's my brain doing?" And we really want to make a change in this narrative. We want to make sure that when people come to see their doctors, whether they're pediatricians, family doctors, or geriatricians, they want to say, what can I do for my brain? And then take that professional advice and, if need be seen by neurologists. And that's kind of the future that we're trying to build through this Brain Health Initiative and work with the American Academy of Neurology and collaborators.
Dr. Rost, we really do appreciate the time, and we'll talk again down the road, because I don't think that people listening can get enough information on this. And then there are a lot of people affected. So anytime we can talk, we would be happy to do that with you. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you very much.
Dr. Natalia Rost, Associate Director of the Comprehensive Stroke Center of Massachusetts General Hospital, professor at Harvard Medical School, also with the American Academy of Neurology. visiting with us here on KMOX. And of course, that interview will also be available on our Odyssey app, AUDACY. It is free to download, KMOX.com as well. Well, because we like to give on this show, and it is day 4 of 5 for Luke Bryan. Luke Bryan is coming to Hollywood Casino Amphitheater July 28th. And tickets are on sale. Tickets are available, and they're available here for you. A pair of them.
Free.
For free.
Yeah.
We're giving away a pair of tickets right now to see Luke Bryan in July at Hollywood Casino Amphitheater. Be caller number
11
to 314-955-1120. 314-955-1120. Caller 11. Gonna go see Luke Bryan at Hollywood Casino Amphitheater this summer. It's Chris and Amy on KMOX.
Regulated activities performed by a licensed affiliate.
I had no idea I could sell my life insurance policy.
Norman and Nancy Duggan for Coventry Direct.
We were about to let Norman's policy lapse because premiums have become expensive. Our kids are doing well on their own, so we just don't need it anymore.
Then Nancy called Coventry.
They were so helpful, answering all of our questions.
If you're over 65 and have $100,000 or more of life insurance, you may qualify.
After this past year, we're celebrating life. We've booked some long overdue travel, and we're able to pay for our grandkids' college.
Coventry Direct has helped thousands live the life they want to live. Pay for unplanned medical expenses or supplement retirement income. When it comes to selling your life insurance, Coventry has you covered. Call 1-800-561-2600 or visit CoventryDirect.com to learn more about how you can get cash by selling your life insurance. Call 1-800-561-2600.
St. Louis, are you ready for the return of the Billiken Blizzard? The Billiken Blizzard returns to Chaffetz Arena Friday, February 16th, when the Billikens host VCU at 6 p.m. All fans in attendance will get a Billikens Blizzard t-shirt, courtesy of SLU Online and KMOX. Plus, enjoy the halftime performance of Superstars, the Billiken Blizzard. Tickets on sale now for the game, and all the details can be found on the events page at KMOX.com/events. If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at LanceDruryLaw.com.
This is Christina Straight with Straight Realty reminding you why pay more than 4. In 2003, we had a dream to start a real estate company that would revolutionize the real estate market. Now, 20 years later, after navigating through the many markets ups and downs, we know exactly how to help you in this challenging time. I'm Christina Straight, owner of Straight Realty. Don't give away your hard-earned equity. Give us a call today, 314-441-4444, 314-441-all-4s. And remember, why pay more than 4?
Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri.
Major phone carriers make you sign contracts with rigid data plans to trap you into a kind of forced phonogamy. Sounds pretty insecure if you ask me. At Consumer Cellular, we believe in a more consensual and healthy form of phonogamy, free of contracts and more flexible to your data needs. This way, you stick around not because we force you to with contracts and fees, but because you love our phone plans. Like ardently love our phone plans. Phonogamously. Consumer Cellular. When freedom calls, we're here to answer. Call us at 1-888-FREEDOM.
As an educator, Mr. Nelson's teachings are still being quoted in schools.
Education is the most powerful weapon you can use to change the world.
Mr. Nelson taught hope
Everyone can rise above their circumstances if they are dedicated and passionate.
and giving our best efforts.
It's always impossible until it's done.
Mr. Nelson Mandela's teachings not only united a nation, they inspire us today. Inspiration. Pass it on from passiton.com.
You couldn't pick a worse time to sell your home. Sure, your home is worth a small fortune right now, but are you really going to swap your 2 or 3% current interest rate and pay 7 or 8% interest on a new house? No way. You don't have to with the Get Paid and Stay program from Truehold. This is ingenious. With the Get Paid and Stay program, Truehold will buy your home now at its best current value. You bank the cash and stay in your home until interest rates come back down, or as long as you like. It's your call. Plus, you won't have to pay property taxes, insurance, or upkeep anymore. Truehold pays those expenses. Learn more about Truehold's Get Paid and Stay program. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com. the smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's value without having to move. That's 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com.
Bo Matthews here for Beast Plumbing. From leaks and drains, water softeners and filtration to water heaters and so much more. Same-day service plus military and senior discounts. Your new plumber is Beast Plumbing. 314-500-LEAK. Online at beastplumbing.com.
Amy Marks Course
This is my show, my microphone.
on KMOX.
Hunting, fishing, loving every day. That's the prayer that a country boy prays. Thank
Well,
God
Ron,
he made me
I guess we should say our winner first.
Oh, yeah. Yesterday we had Valerie in Maryville.
Yep.
And today, Brad in Swansea. I think it's only people from Illinois calling it.
I know. What's going on?
I don't know.
Are the phone lines jammed in Missouri?
Because we had a Doug in Staunton.
Doug in
we had a
Staunton.
Lana in Collinsville.
I think people are making these up. I think
Honestly,
there's somebody.
all week it's been Illinois people.
There's one guy.
Hey, way to represent Illinois. Good for you.
Well, speaking of representing, President Trump obviously is dealing with some trials today, Georgia, New York. So he's a busy
Well,
guy.
also Georgia, they're trying to decide if Fani Willis can keep being the prosecutor
That's
in this.
right. And he's in New York right now.
Yes, he's in New York.
Okay. But yesterday was Valentine's Day.
Oh.
And you would think, well, certainly Donald Trump is going to forget about Valentine's Day, poor Melania, because he's got all this stuff going on. He didn't forget, Ranj. He sent Melania a Valentine's Day message, I think to his mailing list too. It was a campaign email.
Is this a joke?
No, this was
Okay.
really sent by Donald Trump. It was a campaign email, but also Valentine to Melania. The subject line was, "I love you, Melania!" !
That's very nice.
Then you open it up. Dear Melania, I love you, all caps.
Also very nice.
Even after every single indictment, arrest, and witch hunt, you never left my side.
This is a campaign email?
Yeah. You've always supported me through everything. I wouldn't be the man I am today without your guidance, kindness, and warmth. You will always mean the world to me, Melania. From your husband, with love, Donald J. Trump.
That's nice.
I
That's
like that he
nice.
did the middle initial and
Well,
the
just in
last
case it's a
name.
different Donald F. Trump.
Dear Melania, I love you. Even after every single, all caps, indictment, arrest, and witch hunt.
You've been with me through all the witch hunts.
And the
It's-
indictments.
hey, listen. That is, I'm sorry if you like him or hate him, that is objectively funny.
I thought you were going to say that is true love.
It's you stuck with me through all the trials and witch hunts.
I also love that
It's just
he
funny.
wrote the email. He wrote the Valentine as a campaign email, and he used still whatever the capitalization pattern is. He used it.
Awesome.
Every single
awesome.
indictment, arrest, and witch hunt.
Was it a Truth Social post?
No, it was an email, a campaign email. So I guess he wanted all of his followers
Well,
to know how much he loves Melania.
and he loves Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, even though he's a liberal.
And probably can't stand me, all caps. Honestly,
you think Travis Kelce cares?
I don't know.
I bet he doesn't care
I don't
about
think
politics.
so.
Does he sound like the kind of guy
He does
thinking
not.
about politics?
No. He sounds like the kind of guy trying to remember the words to Viva Las Vegas.
Dude, he should never sing again.
Oh,
Actually, he should do it as much as he can. It's so good. Thank you for listening to the show today. It was a difficult day after what happened yesterday in Kansas City. And we'll be back with you tomorrow from Bush Student Center at St. Louis University. The Billikens Grill, Amy and I broadcasting live 10 to 1. A lot of SLU programming tomorrow. So we hope you will visit with us. Anything you missed on the Odyssey app, AUDACY, KMOX.com. Back with you tomorrow at 10 o'clock from the Bill Grill on KMOX. It's Chris and Amy.
Hi, I'm Ann Williams, General Manager of Fairwinds Rivers Edge in St. Charles. We are an award-winning senior living community that's been voted Best Independent Living by